Yesterday, I was at the hospital. I have lost count of how many times we've been there over the past 14 years. It's a place with its own rhythm, where the hours seem to pass more slowly and the hallways are always full of stories we never hear. I walk looking at the machines, the screens, the faces of doctors and nurses who rush by without stopping. At one point, my son looked at me and asked, "What are you thinking about?" I replied, "About a story from the Talmud." Many years ago, when our people lived in the land of Israel under Roman rule, there was a sage known for his deep faith and optimism. His name was Nachum, although everyone called him Nachum Ish Gam Zu because he always says, "Gam Zu L'Tovah, this is too is for the good." No matter what happened, no matter how difficult or painful it seemed, Nachum trusts that everything God does has a purpose, even if we can't understand it in the moment. One day, the leaders of the Jewish community decided to send a gift to the Roman emperor. They wanted to gain his favor and prevent a decree that would be very harsh for the Jews. And who better to deliver the gift than Nachum Ish Gam Zu? He was known for his righteousness, his faith, and the strange way miracles always seemed to follow him. With a box full of precious gems, Nachum set out for Rome, trusting completely that God will guide his steps. But, as often happens in life, things didn't go as expected. During the journey, when Nachum rested at an inn, some thieves broke in and replaced the gems with ordinary sand. When Nachum arrived at the emperor's palace and presented the gift, the king opened the box and saw sand. Furious, he thought the Jews were mocking him. He ordered Nachum to be imprisoned, and it seems like a tragic end was near. But Nachum, true to his word, simply lifted his eyes to heaven and said, "Gam Zu L'Tovah." Even in that dark moment, he believed that something good could come from it. That night, something extraordinary happened. The prophet Elijah, distinguished as one of the king's servants, suggested that perhaps the sun was not ordinary but magical, like the sun Abraham had used in ancient wars, which transformed into powerful weapons. The emperor decided to test it. They used the sun in a battle, and miraculous, the king's enemies were defeated. Filled with gratitude, the emperor not only freed Nachum but also filled the box with treasure for him to take back to his people. When I finished telling the story, my son looked at me silently for a moment. I smiled at him and said, "Sometimes things don't make sense. Sometimes the gift we carry seems to turn into sand, but we don't know what miracles may come from it. We don't know how something that feels like a loss can become a gift." And as we continue walking through the hallways, I thought, maybe in this place, filled with machines, screens, and endless waiting, there is a hidden lesson to us too. Gam Zu L'Tovah, this too is for the good, even if we can't always see it in the moment.